working with the Isla Vista Compost Collective to provide more compost bins throughout Isla Vista and in homes.
Although all my platforms are equally important, my number one objective is to tackle the price of housing in Isla Vista. We pay too much for the poor living conditions we're exposed to.
The single most important item on my platform is to provide residents of Isla Vista with an abundance of resources, educating them on their tenants' rights and ways to hold their landlords more accountable.
What's important is to look through an intersectional framework of our institution to elevate marginalized voices on campus and create actionable change.
I would say it is the Emergency Act, and it is the only way we can ensure our academic well-being, safety, and shelters for students during particular times like this one.
My initiative to provide UCSB students with simplified political information is definitely one of my top priorities, so all of our students can be well-informed voters.
An issue on my platform is advocating for rent control in partnership with the EVPLA and representing marginalized students by participating in student leadership councils, such as Peer Leadership Council.
The single item most important to me in my platform is to expand the mental health town hall, as well as to circulate greater information about the programs offered in Isla Vista for mental health.
While all things on my platform are important, I'm most passionate about extending the walk-in hours and availability for student health and CAPS. From my experience, this is something a lot of people are unhappy about, and I really want to help fix it.
Partnering with the Isla Vista Tenants Union to promote their Rate My Landlord system, which should include how companies responded to the coronavirus.
One of the platforms I'm most passionate about is rent control to prevent rent increases year to year to make living in Ivy more affordable.
The single most important aspect of my platform to me is increasing the amount of resources available to students living in Isla Vista to help them hold their landlords accountable.
What matters most is the livelihood of my peers, and that means creating accessible, better, and actual change for those who need it.
So even if it's small, I want to make changes that will affect students in the day-to-day, so I'll be pushing for funding to expand outlets throughout our library, because we're a digital campus.
The creation of a donation center where students can donate unused food and school supplies for the Ivy community to use.
Putting money back in the hands of students.
Protecting the health of all students through providing free menstrual products in women's and gender-neutral restrooms across campus.
One of my platforms that I'm most passionate about is increasing resource accessibility like food banking cabs, especially in Isla Vista, to give on and off campus students equal access to resources they already pay for.
The item from my platform that's most important to me is meeting basic student needs in order to ensure that all students have what's necessary for them to succeed on this campus.
We should redistribute student fees into resources that become beneficial for all students living off campus, such as food distribution and emergency grants.
Fees are only helpful if they go to the resources students are actually using. So things like the rec center and the MCC are absolutely worth it in my opinion. So I'm in favor of maintaining the level of spending we currently have.
This institution has the means to fund on-campus services, so therefore, I absolutely support the decrease of student fees.
I support any measures that eliminate unnecessary costs. If increasing fees, we must make sure that students feel it's worth them paying more.
I support the decrease of student fees because as a billion-dollar institution, the University of California should do more to further subsidize the cost of education, especially for low-income students.
Student fees, although steep, should remain the same in order to continue funding the ample services we have on our campus and to fund our student-led organizations. I support redirecting unnecessary fees towards critical and underfunded programs such as CAPS.
I would vote in favor of lowering student fees to decrease the amount of financial burden placed on students and their families.
I think that student fees are fine the way they are and should be kept the same.
I support decreasing student fees, especially unnecessary ones, to lower the financial burden placed on students. I would also want to reevaluate where the money is being spent to ensure students are benefiting as best as possible.
It is imperative for the university to implement more student services without increasing student fees because we already pay enough as it is to attend UCSB.
I believe we should decrease student fees while ensuring that services and resources that the school should pay for, not the students, are working efficiently.
I support decreasing fees to lessen the cost on students.
The last thing I want to do is place a greater financial burden on UCSB students. I support maintaining the current level of fees for the time being unless clear cuts or additions are made necessary later on.
I support keeping student fees the same, but to allocate that money smartly to continue to provide greater and more valuable resources and programs for students.
Students pay too much in tuition and fees, and decreasing fees can make it more affordable. Current resources can be improved with the difference in university paying rather than students.
I believe we should decrease and potentially eliminate all unnecessary costs. Student fees should go towards things that benefit the students, and essential resources that the students may need.
I think student fees are too high, but I think student resources should stay the same. I think the university should pay for these fees instead of students.
I support decreasing student fees to lessen student costs. I strongly believe we can find better ways to help support our students while also decreasing the cost of attendance.